Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Teach One podcast. I am your host, Mr. Rich. Today, I'm joined by my brother with the wonderful vacation shirt on. My man is coming from Tampa. It's my guy, Corey Jackson. Corey Jackson is the proud principal of Lockheart Elementary School in Tampa, Florida, as you can tell again by the shirt, and then which is in Hillsborough County. Man, what's up, Corey?
What's happening, bro? Good to see you, man. Good to
Good to
good
see
to
you as well.
connect always. Long-standing friendship, so yeah, man. I appreciate you.
No problem, man. Good to have you on, man. So we gonna jump right into it because you and I can talk for days, especially
Yeah,
off camera and whatnot. But we gonna
yeah.
give our people what they came here for. So let's start with where were you born?
So I'm a product of Middletown, Connecticut. So
Okay, Middletown.
I'm a transplant to Florida. So I've only been here a minute, but 6 years. But I am born and raised in Middletown, Connecticut.
And so you
Lived
you
there
went
for
to
40+ years.
in Middletown.
Yeah, Middletown
Okay,
and
so
New
you
Britain.
went to Middletown Public Schools?
I went to Middletown junior high and high school, and then I did the parochial school from K through grade 7.
Okay, so let's start with K through 7 with parochial school. What was that like? How'd you end up there?
So I had a couple of cousins, two female cousins who were going to St. John's at that time elementary school up on the north end of Middletown. Um, and so they were going there, and then my aunt told my mother about it. She put us on, me and my older brother. He went. He lasted for about 2 days. Then they were like, "Yo, this kid is too wild. He cannot come here." They kicked him out. So then my mother, like, literally, he lasted 2 days. He went to McDonough Elementary School. She took him out of there, took him to St. John's. He lasted 2 days. The nuns was
Mm,
like, "This kid
mm.
is
No
wild. He
way.
can't
No way.
stay." So then I went, me and my little sister, and I ended up staying at St. John's from K through grade 7.
Okay.
Um, and
What was that like?
it was awful. There was
Really?
probably Yeah, there was probably a school of about 300 some odd kids, maybe about 20 black kids in general. And at that and the one thing about me is that I've always felt my blackness because I was always around black people. Born and raised in Middletown on the north end of Middletown, you either one or two things. You either Italian or you're black.
Okay.
So the neighborhood I grew up in was all black. Then by McDonough School was the black side, and then on the opposite side of the school was the Italian side. So I've always been conscious, even as a little kid,
Yeah.
being around black things, black people. And so it was a shock. I thought I was headed straight to McDonough where all the black
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And then when my parents flipped at him, was like, "No, we're gonna give you a shot," because McDonough back then was not a good school.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they thought they was giving me a better shot at
Yeah.
St. John's, but what my parents never realized was that, yes, it was probably a better shot in some areas, but then in terms of just being around my people, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, a lot of the black kids that I went to school with were slowly leaving. And I just felt like I'm still here, but all my black friends are leaving. Parents pulled them
But
out.
was that anything to do with integration, like, to help you
Yeah,
be
it just
a more
wasn't.
well-rounded person?
It wasn't. It wasn't comfortable at all.
Okay.
And you could see that, you could feel it, in the energy in the building with the nuns and some of the teachers, and you could feel it that we were just different, and a lot of us did not were not Catholic. It was
Yeah.
hard, man. You grow up a Southern Baptist,
Yeah.
and then you're thrust into the school where you gotta go to mass
So good
and
intentions, but you
kneel
wasn't.
on a pew, and I'm just like, "What is this about?" Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I know about tambourines and the organ going in church, like, I don't know about what y'all got going on here, and it was just different, and me and my sister just when 3 o'clock came or 2:45 came, bro, I couldn't wait to go back to the hood, like, "Get me out of
But
here."
wait a minute. Did you have any good times in that school? Did you have a favorite teacher in that school, a favorite subject in that school?
I had a life I had a lifelong friend who I still communicate with to this day. Italian kid by the name of Jimmy Dodato. Still friends to this day. I had a so during my tenure at St. John's, I also had a speech impediment. I used to stutter. And my favorite teacher was the speech therapist who came one day a week to
Oh,
work with me.
yeah.
I don't remember her face, her name. If this woman walked by me throughout my child and adulthood in Middletown, I would never remember her.
But
'Cause
this was
all
your
I know
favorite
is
teacher.
this teacher came once a week and helped me. And by the time and this began around 3rd grade, and by the time I got to grade 5, that speech impediment was just about gone. Like, I don't it was I thank God for this woman. Still don't remember her face, but I remember woman would come get me. We go down to the little small cafeteria in the basement of the school. She'd get her tape recorder, make me read, make me say things back to her slowly, just help develop my speech to where I didn't stutter anymore. Because
Okay,
that stuttering that speech impediment also gave me a real chip on my shoulder.
okay.
So, it made me angry because not only was I getting teased at school.
I was gonna say when you come home and
Oh,
around
you
the
know, my
break,
cousins,
when you get home,
everybody
you
was
yeah.
was was clowning me,
Family be the worst
be
sometimes
the
too.
worst,
Yeah,
and so it was hard. So when I went to St. John's, I'm this black kid with a enormous chip,
yeah.
aggressive, angry. This woman helped me, man, and she's my favorite teacher because she helped me. Like, it was traumatizing being go teased like that, and some of them kids at St. John's, some of them rich kids was just awful to me because of it. And so she was my favorite. Still, like I said, don't know her name. I even went back a few when my oldest son was gonna go to St. John's.
Yep.
I went back and tried to like through the records. I asked to find this lady.
Time out, time out. You had an awful experience there, but was thinking about sending your oldest son there?
Yes, and that's because of the changing of the guard
Okay.
when I was there. So they went a lot less away from traditional nuns, priests,
Yeah, yeah.
classroom.
Okay.
Started really changing into becoming more public school creditations.
Yeah,
And so, and honestly, bro, it was also had a lot to do with at that time, my oldest son is from a previous relationship. And so it fit our parenting arrangement.
got you.
That
Okay.
particular school fit our arrangement.
Yep.
Um,
Okay,
and
well, I
then,
wanna take away from the fact that this was your moment in elementary, pre-middle school kinda thing where this teacher, who we don't know her name, but she helped you out, and that ended up being your favorite teacher
yeah,
to get up to what p to 5th grade, and then after 5th grade, did you leave, or did you leave in 7th grade?
I left after 7th.
Okay, and where'd you go then?
Woodrow Wilson Junior High
And
in
how was
Middletown.
that? Was that like,
One
"Oh, I'm back. What's up?
Yes,
What's up? I'm back. Corey in the
yeah,
house."
yeah, I got, I'll never forget the first obviously, my last name is Jackson. I
Yep.
have a large family.
Okay.
I get to homeroom, bust through the doors, and there about 10 of my cousins, everybody last name Jackson. And I know them, you know what I'm saying? I know them all because we live in this, and I know them all, and they all look, and they're like, "You here?"
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
like, "Yeah, I'm finally here with all of us." And
Mhm.
it was amazing just to be around. By the time I got to 8th grade, Middletown has started to have an influx of more Hispanics in Middletown too. And so, just that diversity at Wilson, um, I loved it. There was
Okay.
more sports. My best friend, was going there, and it was just I just, like, just opened up this whole new experience, of what education was, and um, didn't really have a number of teachers that I bonded with at Wilson.
Mhm.
Um, the instructional experience wasn't the best. I never really gelled with any bonded with any of the teachers until I got to Middletown High. So at
Okay.
that time, Middletown High was grades 10 through 12.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you had to stay in that middle school, went up to ninth grade.
Yeah, and then when I went over to high school, Middletown High was like that's when I met some wonderful, influential.
So that was like junior high, so to speak,
Yeah,
rather
that was
than
the
middle
old
school, junior
traditional
high,
junior
and
high,
then yeah.
yes.
Okay, so
And
talk
then
about high school.
high school was it seemed like a blur.
Mm.
Um,
Hey, listen, when you mind you saying that, I tell these kids now that I'm in front of, these young men and women, because I sit in front of a lot of them when they get in trouble, especially when they're freshmen. I'm like, "Listen, you just said blur." So just reminded me, I'm like, "High school is the fastest 4 years of your life.
it is
It'll go by like that."
the absolute fastest, and it
Yeah.
was high school was awesome. I mean, I loved it. It was just it just felt like everybody could be themselves.
Mhm.
A lot of the teachers at Middletown High were lifers at Middletown High, really good teachers who cared, who had put everything into Middletown High and the kids, and it was evident by their longevity in the building.
Yeah.
Um, Good, better, and different. They were there, and they were not gonna go. And how today you have all of these teaching scandals and this and that and the third.
Mhm.
None of that. The teachers were just good folks
Yeah.
who had been in Middletown themselves for decades. And they just really Middletown High felt like a real family. Um, and two of my most favorite teachers were at Middletown. Miss Lombardo, she was my Algebra 1 teacher. She was
Okay.
not gonna let me fail no matter what, Algebra 1, Algebra 2. She was not gonna let me fail that class because I struggled. And then Mr. Gioco, my chemistry teacher, he was just an OG, like, he wore the lab coat,
Yeah.
hilarious old Italian dude, who had this dry sense of humor, but he would crack a joke with us. He was just an amazing chemistry teacher. It made me understand chemistry. He was another one that was gonna stay after school with me to make sure I stayed on the hoop team, make sure I stayed on the track team. They were
Yeah.
Lombardo and Gioco were gonna make sure that I was not going to fail,
Now you
and they
said
were
something
wonderful.
very interesting about Lombardo. And I guess it probably relates to both of them when you said it, you just said it again, would not let you fail. So it wasn't one of those situations because I've seen all types of teachers, whether I was in school as a student versus even now in the positions that I've been in, where some teachers are think they're teaching you a lesson when you fail or you don't do something. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
step back, I'm gonna let you do it because
yeah.
that's gonna be on you. But that wasn't the situation with these teachers.
No, they were like, "I'll stay out there with you
Yeah.
every day until we get this, and Corey, until you understand this periodic table, this chart,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how these elements work, you
Yeah.
are not going to fail." And Miss Lombardo, she would get on the phone, call coach, "He's with me. He's gonna
Yeah.
be with me every da 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 da." Like, she would not let me fail, and she would even when days I didn't wanna go,
Right.
she'd come get me off the field. "You supposed to be with me.
Yeah.
Get back in here." Like, you supposed and they were just amazing people, and another testament to Middletown High, her husband was Miss Lombardo's husband was our music and band teacher.
Okay.
So they were a package deal, so they had been at the high school forever. But it was another example of that dedication to the students of Middletown, the community of Middletown, like, they were lifers for us kids over there, and so they were the most impactful just because they never lost faith in me even when I was frustrated.
Right.
Now, Did their influence impact me enough to be a teacher? Hell
Yeah.
no. Absolutely not.
No?
No.
No?
No.
So
Absolutely not.
when did you know you wanted to be a teacher? What's up with that?
After I graduated, I got accepted at UNC Charlotte, so I went all the way to North Carolina. I wanted to get away, so I went to North Carolina, and I was um I was dead set on going to law school.
Oh, okay.
I was dead
Well,
set.
what made you wanna be a lawyer?
Um Honestly, as shallow as it sounds, I love to argue.
That doesn't sound shy. I thought you was gonna say for the money.
No,
You
I
want to
was.
argue.
If I had the evidence in front of me, you were not gonna win.
Okay. Okay.
If I did my research and had my evidence, you were not gonna win.
Okay.
And so, I loved the art of the debate in class. I loved, um, even back then, fishbowl activities in
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
Just was like, you got to prove me wrong because I'm definitely gonna prove you incorrect.
So
And so I
even
just
in
stayed.
those circumstances with the fishbowl type of activities, even if you had the opposite, because sometimes the teacher would say, "Okay, switch. You on this side of it while this person on this side of it," you still
Easy,
could prove that person wrong?
easy,
Easy. Got it.
easy,
Got it.
because it's really about understanding, really delving into perspective.
Mhm.
So looking at it from both sides, intentionally. And so I liked doing that. I liked historical law.
Okay.
I was a history major, but I knew with at UNC Charlotte, I was a history major, so I knew that. And then I had a fondness for historical law because I felt it. I still find it interesting the creation of law and the reasons leading up to why such and such laws were created. And so took a lot of historical law classes, British law, American law,
Mm,
European, and so I just felt like law school for me was probably the route I was gonna go.
okay.
But then I also um realized after I graduated that law school was gonna be a pretty penny.
So wait a minute.
Um,
You went through UNC Charlotte and got through 4 years with a bachelor's, still focused on law. You didn't change anything.
my focus was on my bachelor's was on it was in history
Okay, history. Got it.
with a focus on historical law.
Mhm.
And so got home, back to Middletown, done. I
Yeah.
did my 4.5. I'm back. Got home, started preparing for the LSAT. Started prepping books, research, got a tutor, all the above. I was like, I'm gonna go hard. But then, 21 years old, I'm home, or so down here we graduate early May. So I'm home, and and my best friend had finished up his 4 years baseball scholarship at UConn. So now we home. He was an engineering major, and so he had job already lined up at a chemical solutions plant in September. That's when he was no November he was gonna start. So it's the summer of us. Me and him, we home, we outside. We graduated, we
Yeah.
outside.
We're
We
outside.
at every party, every this, every
Mhm.
that. Like we both like, man, we got till November. I'm saying to myself, I got to. I'm gonna take the test too then. And so, a funny story is, I'm at his house one morning, and his
Mhm.
mom early morning. I stayed over. We had been partying.
Yep.
Stayed home. His mom comes downstairs. She looks at me. She looks at him. This is now like mid June, and she's like, and this is practically my mother. Me and this dude been best friends since preschool.
Yep.
So she looks at me, she says, "Core, I love you to death, but I've seen you every day since the beginning of
You gotta get the
yeah,
hell
I've
up out.
seen you every day." And she said, You got to do something." And mind you, my parents are saying the same thing to me at home.
Right, right. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm studying for the test, da, 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 da. But honestly, Rich, when I say studying, I really
Yeah.
wasn't.
Okay.
So my best friend's father, he's a pastor, he comes downstairs.
Oh,
He slaps the New Haven register on the kitchen because we eating breakfast. I mean
yeah,
cereal. New Haven register on the table. He has this whole article highlighted in circle. I'll never forget. University of New Haven is offering free master's degree if you agree to intern at a middle school. Free master's in education if you agree to intern for a year. Free masters. So my best friend's mom, I call her mom. She says to me, she was like, "I expect you to go to this seminar,
really?
this open house." She was like, "I already talked to your mom." She called my mom
Yep,
the first. She was like, "I already talked to her. We expect you to go to this open house." Long story short, later on that week, I went to the open house, left the open house, and in the car, I was like, "Free master's degree in education."
yeah,
I have a background in it because I was a counselor
history.
and a
Yeah,
student in the
okay,
Upward Bound program at Wesleyan my entire life.
yep.
So I had some history of working with kids and teaching, and I went. It was an offer I couldn't refuse.
So you
Free
did your master's program, did you kinda do, like, substitute teaching along the way or whatever?
Now
You just
I
went through
I
the
did
program?
Sylvan Learning for like a month.
Dang.
A
Silver
month.
learner, okay, yeah,
And
for
I was
like
like, Sylvan Learning Academy
yeah,
and up in, downtown Charlotte, and I was like, "This is whack. I'm not doing
yeah,
this."
yeah.
And then that article I went to the open house, met a couple of the professors, i.e. advisors. One of them looked at me and said, she said, "Listen, if you do this program, I can guarantee you a job at any middle school you want." She said, "Middle school is absent and void of all black men.
All black men.
All you gotta do is get through this program." And she kept reiterating job and free masters.
Mhm.
And so I did it. I applied, got accepted, did the 2-year master's program at UNH. I interned at Roosevelt Middle School, New Britain, fell in love with New Britain once I started interning.
Oh, New Britain, yeah, they don't have New Britain doesn't have Roosevelt Middle School anymore.
I
I
did
wanna
my
bring it back though. I wanna bring it back for those of you who are listening, but that's where you started at.
I did my internship there. After my
Okay.
internship left, I did my long-term sub in there. After my long-term sub ended, um, the principal of Slade at that time, Mrs. Springer, the great Dr. Springer,
Mhm.
called me for an interview, offered me a job, and then that same interview, she said, "I'm offering you the job, 7th grade social studies, but I got some bad news. I'm retiring."
She was retiring at that time.
And
We
I
just named
said
the building we just named the building after her.
and
Uh,
I said and I looked her in the face and I said, "Of all the wonderful things that I've heard about you as a principal, you gonna hire me and tell me I'm your last hire, you, like, are retiring." So I left the interview and I said, "Let me think on it." I left, I was walking to the car, principal of Jackie Robinson Middle School in New Haven calls me. Dr. Belinda Carberry. She calls me and says, "Can you come right now?" I said, "Right now?" She's like, "Come right now." Interviewed her. We hit it off as wonderfully as well.
mhm.
I walk into Jackie Robinson. I never seen a middle school like this in my life. Um,
What do you mean by that? Because 'Cause I've never been in that middle school.
so Jackie Robinson Middle, before it was torn down and became King Robinson, it was uh, the open classroom setting.
Okay.
Built in the early 1970s. This school had it was separated by the houses, so red house, yellow house, blue house. That's how they separated grades. And all throughout the classrooms in school has spiral staircases,
Yeah, we
like the
had those are
70s.
called Mayas. We had Mayas in Hartford like that,
Yes, and
but we didn't have
so
it in our middle school, we had it in our elementary schools.
I had a
Okay.
spiral staircase in the middle of my classroom.
Yeah, that we
And
I did too. I remember that. We had a spiral
you rem
staircase and it went down, and when you went down, you went to other people's classroom. It was
yeah,
like
everybody's
all
classroom,
open. all open.
Yes, when you walked up, I went to my partner, math
Yep,
teacher upstairs.
yep, yep.
Dr. Carberry offered me the job on the spot. She said, "7th grade social studies right now." I said, "Right now?" I said, "All right. I'm thinking on it, I'll call you back." Get in the car to finally come back home to Middletown. On the one hand, I had Dr. Springer who was leaving. Other hand, I had another black woman who was going to coach me and groom me, Dr. Carberry, who was just got to Jackie Robinson. So I took the job with Jackie Robinson, and after that, it was on after that.
Okay, so you was teaching in
I was in
and
New
you
Haven.
but, you was in New Haven, at what point because obviously you kept your career going, what point did you realize that this is what I'm gonna do and I'm not gonna go to law school?
I realized it honestly after that first month at JR, and I was like, "Yo, these kids need me."
Mm,
Like
mm,
when they walked into the classroom and saw me,
yep,
and now mind you, Jackie Robinson was on Fournier Street in New Hallsville.
I have no idea what you're saying, but I
So
assume
the hood, like
right. Yeah, yeah,
like there.
yep, yep,
And them kids walked in and saw me, and their eyes just lit up like. And now,
yeah.
and mind you, Rich too. I'm this young dude too. I'm 22, 23,
I remember my days like that, yes,
and
sir.
some of these middle schoolers, I hate to say it, but 14, 15 in 7th
Yeah,
grade with
yeah,
me,
yep, yep,
and they see me, and I'm still this young. So not only am I them and they're me, but they dressing like me. I'm dressing like them, but it's the same music. And I realized then the impact, the inspiration. Then my partner, math teacher up the staircase from me, born in that neighborhood. So he's them, we them, and so
yeah,
we just clicked and connected. And we were the same age, and so for these
nice.
kids to see us in that position, in that light, I just felt from that point on like they uh, uh they need me. They need to see this is possible. They need to see that you can be sometimes a problematic 4th grader,
Mhm,
but you don't have to end up a problem as a grown man. You
right.
can evolve into what you're looking at.
Now was that first year or those first couple of years, was it tough having that responsibility? Because when I know just from my end, I was the only black male teacher when I first started in my position, and I really didn't have a mentor, I didn't have a buddy, I had someone there, but he wasn't the best guy. He tried to look out for me as much as he could. Shout out to Bobby Williams. He tried, but it wasn't the same, and I really didn't have a lot of nurturing in the role, and I almost didn't make it that first year because no one was like, "Be firm." I went in trying to be their friend and trying to
Oh,
be their friend and trying to be cool with them. And again, I looked like I was 15, like you know what I mean. So it's like, what really? We're not gonna listen to you. So it was kind of tough. Did you have any tough moments in your beginning teaching career?
um, yeah, I would say, well, 2 things. Jackie Robinson, the beauty of Jackie Robinson was there were so many black veterans in that building.
Mm, yeah,
And so I was schooled early on how to proceed and handle myself when it comes to uh some of these kids with some who were really, really troubled, had
yeah.
really
That's
troubled lives, who
good.
were going to
That's good.
test me
Yep.
at my young age. Then I also had my aunt was a school social worker in there too.
Oh,
Um
in the building too.
in the building too.
Yeah, that helps. That helps for
So
sure.
so they knew, his aunt Judy right down the hall, so you ain't gonna trip too much.
Right.
And so I had that, but what I loved about New Haven is that as a city, there's just so many black educators in New Haven. So even when I started, everybody was wrapping their arms around me, coaching me anyway. And then Dr. Carberry was amazing. Her Dr. Carberry's AP. Dr. Eileen Tracy, who eventually was the superintendent of New Haven maybe about 5 years ago, was her AP. Her other AP was Coach Jennings, who was a Hill House football coach, but he was a AP, he was a lifer there. So I had all of these people in this building, my aunt as well in this building who schooled me and raised me. So I felt like I was truly prepared for what the challenges are going to be at one of the lowest performing middle schools in the city.
Yeah.
So I felt a comfort in that. And then I had my partner upstairs who we became lifetime friends who, he was from the neighborhood. So he was also getting in my ear like this how you gotta proceed with this and that. And
That means
so
a lot. When you have a good, well-rounded
yeah, man,
around you,
it was I
surrounding you,
had
it
that.
means a lot, man. A good stable, circle of support, so to speak.
Yes.
That's
I
dope.
had
That's dope.
that. I
Yeah.
had that. And so it made me grow up quickly
Mhm.
in NHPS, but it also made me grow up and connect and bond with the kids like I did. So that first year at JR was an amazing experience. And then life kicked in. My first son was born and in 2002. And then the realities of fatherhood and bills set in,
Yeah.
and because I had did so well academically with my students at JR, I started to see what was out there in terms of salary wise and closer to home. Because at this
Mhm.
time I'm still in Middletown.
Right.
And so with my master's degree, I left JR after a year, but my heart was still always in Waving.
Yep.
And so I left and ended up taking this job, a teaching job, 8th grade history job in Meriden, Thomas Edison Middle Magnet School. So again,
Okay.
I'm slowly making my way back towards Middletown, closer to
Mhm.
home,
Mhm.
my newborn son. And so I stayed at Edison for 7 years.
Okay. You was in
I did
Maryland for 7
Edison.
years.
I did Thomas Edison for 7 years from 2002 to 2008,
Okay.
and then went to from there, did a teacher job fair,
So I
and
never asked you if you knew Orlando Valentine.
that name sounds familiar.
It's gonna click back. We circle back for that. We'll circle back to
Okay,
that. From
um,
Meriden. Yeah.
yeah, that name sounds so familiar.
I think he's a
Um,
AP. I mean, I think he's either AP or a principal now.
that
I have to
name sounds
circle that
super
back.
familiar,
But Orlando's
and
my guy. But keep going.
I went to a job fair,
Yep.
and the then principal of me and the homie Q, who we were at, so we this is how crazy life is. Q and I both left JR, got hired at Edison. He got hired first. At Edison was brand new. It was the year was opening in '02,
Okay.
so they were still filling out staff. So Q goes to the interview. Principal says to him, "You know anybody else who want to come?"
Yep.
He was like, "My homie want to come." Teach social studies. She was like, "Tell him to come. We interview him. He'll have a job. If you say he is what he is." So he got me the job at Edison. So
Yep.
we both there, partners again. We did 6 years at Edison. We did everything. We did chess club. We were girls basketball coaches. We after school program. We did tutoring. We did it all. 2000 and the spring of 2008. I said to him, I was like, "Yo, let's go to this job fair. I heard New Britain pays even better."
Mhm.
He was okay. Went to the job fair. The then principal of Pulaski, Vanetta Rivers.
Okay.
Vanetta sees us both at job fair. She was like, no lie. She points at both of us and said, "I'll hire both of you right now." She said, "I don't care what position it is, I'll hire you both right now." Because New Britain needed middle school, they
Needed some
needed
folks.
black men.
Mhm.
They needed us. She kept her word. She hired us both on the spot.
And you was okay with leaving Meriden?
Yes,
Okay.
because I was family's growing.
Right, right.
I'm hustling with these after school job opportunities.
To make
New
ends
Britain
meet and to keep up with the money and all that. Yep,
New Britain covered Vanetta covered that in one conversation.
right, right,
He said, "If you show me you to take your transcript in New Britain, we can do plus 10 right now."
right. Give put you up on those ladders to where you need to
Oh,
be.
sold.
Yep,
And so I ended up going to Pulaski, me and him. He did math, I did history again.
yep.
Pulaski after 2008, 9, I get a call the day after my wedding. Vanetta calls me to say my position's being cut. I'm being transferred to back to Roosevelt.
Mhm.
Did Roosevelt 2009 to 11.
Oh, she took you with her.
No,
You
I
were
got
getting cut, not her. Your
not her.
position
I
cut.
got sent to Roosevelt.
You got sent to Roosevelt. Got it, got it, got it.
Boom. 2009, 11. During the time of 9/11, I realized, um, just probably around 2004 or 5, I began to really look at leadership, school leadership, like take it
Yeah, but
seriously and take on roles within the school or
okay.
school leaders
Yeah,
roles,
yeah, yeah.
team leader. Um, and then when I got to New Britain and I finally got back to Roosevelt in 2009, I joined the leadership cohort.
And that was to be that cohort prepared you to get your O-92, so to speak.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now
And then
most people, and I just ran into a guy at this conference I was in Vegas. Most people, when they finally get into teaching, a lot of times they just want to teach. I just want to teach, right? I ain't got time for central office. I don't got time to try to be the boss. I don't want to be principal. I love my classroom. I love
yeah,
these kids. And then you have that other group of people who are like, nah, I see I can make a bigger difference out there
that
if
was
I
me.
have this other role. Okay, so go ahead, talk about that.
So I just felt like even on my team, felt like, I could make a bigger I made a bigger impact in providing leadership and guidance. And from the balcony view, looking at the
Mhm,
whole picture. I would say that's one thing I do pretty well is I tend to operate from the balcony view,
mhm,
and so that's always been my perspective in life in general, looking at the whole grand scheme of things. And then I translated into how I was a teammate, and then how I would project myself on the team as
yep,
the go-to person, as the individual that was going to make sure that the whole the bigger picture and the all the perspectives were recognized before we made decisions. And then I just was raised, man, like if you not a leader, you a follower.
mm,
And I've never been that. And so it just for me was just a natural transition. It's something that I try to instill my boys into that we're always we were born to be, and I truly believe this, that we were born to be leaders.
yeah,
And so you take that mentality in terms of, but it also has something to do with my personality too. I'm
yeah.
a little bit, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay. I feel like that one thing I am is that a leader by nature.
You know what I hear though sometimes too? I hear that chip on your shoulder still, that you
Yeah,
talked about earlier,
absolutely.
right? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm
and
still
and
have that.
yeah, and I've also in growing up, I saw what happens when you with my older brother. I see what happens when you don't lead, when you do follow. A lot of times negativity occurs if you are a follower,
Yeah.
and some things happen. And so I had that example in front of me.
Mm,
I always was conscious of, like, in life, yeah, my older brother did not make the wisest choices.
yep.
He elected to follow, and so. you couple that with learning that life lesson, and then my personality, it was just for me, it was just a natural progression
So
to where
you went into AP or
yeah,
principal?
so, um, in, in '98, I went back no, got my master's in '98 2000, and then 2000 and Caleb was born in '04, so probably '05, '06, started my 6th year '09-2 at Southern.
Okay.
That's right, because I graduated with my '09-2 like a week before we got married in August '08. So it was a 2-year accelerated program,
Mhm.
knocked that out, and then from there was given a lot more leadership opportunities in New Britain. So then by the time 2000 and so right as I'm transitioning into Roosevelt there, I'm getting my '09-2, so it was perfect. So then I got the '09-2, and then New Britain opened up the leadership cohort program with
Join that.
Dr.
Yep.
Kurtz. She was the superintendent then.
Yep.
And so it was perfect timing. So I'm in this cohort, going to these PD sessions, giving some leadership opportunities at Roosevelt. And then by the time 2011 came, I was fully ready. I felt as far as team leader, working with the then superintendent, I was ready, man. I was ready for a AP job.
Yep.
And as life would have it, um, Dr. Michael Connor,
Yeah. I know Mike.
that's my boy.
Okay. Yep.
So Dr. Connor was in New Haven.
Okay.
Well, Mike calls me, he's like in 2011, he said, bro, they giving me my first principal job in New Haven. You trying to come back home? And I was like, what you got for me?
Mhm.
And he said, I'm leaving this AP job. I told the principal I got the perfect candidate. You. You ready? I was like, born ready, of course. Mike left, took the job at the name escapes me now, New Haven. Took that role. He gave my name to the current principal, who, mind you, was a incoming teacher when I was leaving, Jackie Robinson, all them years ago.
Yep.
Keisha Hannons, who's now the assistant superintendent in New Haven.
Shout out to Keisha. I know Keisha.
Keisha, shout out to Keisha. Keisha calls me and was like, "You ready to come back home?" And I said, "Of course." She hired me. She hired me. Went to see her. She said, "If Mike vouches for you," and she knew me anyway.
Right, but still.
She was like, "You good?" She was like, "If
Yep.
Mike vouches, and I know, and Dr. Tracy and
Yeah.
Dr. Carberry vouch for you, they've been wanting you to come back the moment you left." And so I got that. I got that role with Celentano. It's now Celentano Biotech Medical Magnet Academy, and I got that
Anyway.
job, AP job with her,
Yep.
and it's been on ever since.
And so you liked being an AP or being an administrator over being a teacher.
Yes, because I was able to influence and impact not only teachers, students, parents. I liked that dynamic. I like being able to have those touch points. Um, and and don't get me wrong, those years, those 11 years in the classroom, they
Mhm.
were so dope. Loved it
Mhm.
because it was all middle. First of all, it was all middle school.
Now I
I
you
could
you gotta be a special kind of person
gotta be.
to rock with middle school students.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
me. And I understood them. I could have a conversation with them. You
Yeah.
can really vibe out with 13-year-old. And then sometimes some of those middle school kids, we grew up like them.
Yeah.
So I knew where they were coming from.
Yeah.
I knew some of the struggles, you know, some of them crazy family members, all the
Mhm.
above that I'm sure you totally know what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
That we were them. And so we just made it easy, man. And then I feel like I always brought history to life for these kids
Hmm,
because I broke it down in such a way that we understood it. Not so much the textbook, but really it's about one large story. And I would always tell the kids to think about how people tell a story
mhm.
and the perspectives that the story is being told. And so I'm going to give you all of the perspectives of this story, and then we'll talk about the impact of the events in this story. So I brought it to life for them. It wasn't about the George Washingtons on the wall. It was
Yeah.
about let's talk about the story of how this person came to be, how this land became to be, and so on and so forth. And they just really got it, and I
How could you
truly
give
enjoyed
that
it.
up though? Like that to me was like, oh man, the power in being a teacher and capturing, the kids like, oh, I want to be in Mr. Jackson's
Yeah,
class
yeah,
next year, and I want to do this and that. Hey, you as a black male in a building, you almost everybody's teacher anyway,
yeah,
right? It's almost like, oh,
yeah.
hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, that kind of stuff. So
And it was
giving
so
that up for
rewarding.
administration, yeah,
It
so
was so
rewarding,
rewarding.
right? For
Yeah, man,
sure,
it really
for sure.
was.
But you gave that up for administration. You are currently a principal now, right? But you're in Hillsborough County in Tampa, Florida,
The
right? And
7th largest school district in the country.
it's huge. I've gone there to visit to get some leadership training and all that kind of stuff. But you're in an elementary school, right? How'd you end up as a principal in an elementary school knowing your passion is those middle school kids?
Uh, I did a year being a principal at Illing Middle School
Manchester.
in Manchester,
Yep.
and I knocked it out the park at Illing. I did I was and even the superintendent,
Matt.
with Matt Gary would tell
Hmm.
you that I knocked it out the park my first year, only year there, and I did so well that I was offered a job at AP job at Manchester High to be the um chief evaluator at the high school.
Okay.
So I was just going to be AP and just simply did observation and evaluation.
Okay.
That's it. And I felt I couldn't wait for that challenge, right? So because I knew I liked Illing. I liked the folks that I worked with at Illing. I thought Illing was a great middle school for me. Larger, 900 plus kids, almost 1,000,
Hmm.
eighth and 7th and 8th graders. I ran all of grade 7 with my dean and my team, and it was an amazing experience. I love Matt Geary. I thought, and at that time, Vanetta Rivers, they both gave me a shot. Um, and so I had a great experience with some of the people I worked with in Manchester, and so that job was on the table.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Keisha again. Like one of Keisha's childhood friends, Gary Highsmith, who's now the superintendent of
Hamden.
Hamden.
I know Gary. Yep.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Good guy.
Keisha's Gary called her and was like, "Listen, I need a brother over here at Shepherd Glen Elementary School. The principal is leaving to go be an assistant soup and Sonia." And Gary said, "Keisha, I need somebody. I need a brother." He was like, "Shepherd Glen, Hamden needs a brother,
Hmm.
like now."
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in my office middle of June, school year
Yep.
is out, and because I'm getting ready, I'm debating this job at Manchester High. Um, and Keish calls me. She's like, "You ready to be a principal?" This is 2018.
Hmm.
I said, "Of course." And she said, "Shepherd Glen, Gary just called me. He needs he wants a black guy to come home, take over Shepherd Glen." I said, "What do I need to do?" She
Yep.
just sent me a resume. Sent it to Keisha, Keisha sent it to Gary. 2 days later, I was interviewing. Now, mind you, like you said, I had no elementary experience,
Right.
none. But Gary told him that I was an AP at Celentano, which was pre-K to 8. So she's like, "He knows elementary.
Yeah, I know
Now
elementary.
I trained him.
Yeah.
He know it now." Fast short story sh did the interview, won them folks over, sorta, because the guy I was replacing was at Shepherd Glen for 10 years.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was like replacing a family member, so that was
Yep.
hard.
Yep.
But the interview, I did all my homework. I got the interview, nailed it.
Yep.
I know I was being announced as the new principal of Shepherd Glen from 2019-20 to, no, 18 to 20.
Yep.
18, 19, 20, yes. And then so that's how I jumped into the elementary world, and that first year was all elementary. It was tough. It was tough because the staff missed their former principal, and they made it known that I wasn't him.
Yeah.
They made it known that I was a middle school guy.
Mm.
So they were rough on me, but,
Okay.
I was built for it. It
Yep.
was a challenge that I knew I was up for. Um, I couldn't let Keisha down. Vouched for me more than once. Couldn't let Gary down, and so it was one of those things to where I had to do it, man. I just put all that what I didn't know. I poured all of what I didn't know into what I need to know.
Yep.
So that's how it came to be elementary, and I've been elementary ever since.
But how'd you get to Tampa?
So I got to Tampa. So we first moved here in 2020 in COVID. I took over a charter school. So we moved to Palm Coast, Florida, which is on the east side of Florida, 30 minutes south of St. Augustine and 30 minutes north of Daytona. So I'm right in the little beach area. My mother-in-law has been in Florida since '02, '01 actually.
Okay. Yep.
2020 during COVID, we just decided after my oldest son graduated
Yep.
and got accepted to UConn, we decided to move here,
Okay.
move to Florida. And so fortunately, we didn't do enough research to understand that when you move to Florida, if you don't in terms of education, if you don't move into a larger city, trying to get an admin job in one of these small areas with 8 to 10 schools,
Mhm.
virtually impossible. And that's what Palm Coast was. It was a struggle.
Okay.
Palm Coast got 8 schools. Jacksonville got 187 schools.
Right.
So, got a job in Jacks Beach at a charter school, pre-K to 8 charter school, did that, and, I turned that school from a C to first year to 1 point shy of an A year 3. But philosophically, me and the charter world is different. It's very different in terms of traditional public school. Like
Mhm.
there's the boards have power in traditional public schools, but in charter, boards have the opportunity to write on the spot, write and create and change bylaws and
Right.
things.
Right.
And so philosophically, the board and my supervisor, by year 3, I was starting to see that the focus was a lot less on instruction and academics, but
Mhm.
more on the theme of the school. And
Okay.
that's something I couldn't get behind because I knew from day to day, classroom to classroom, we needed to compete with Duval County Public Schools academically. And we were steadily, reverting back to the theme of the school, which was nature, nature and, um,
Like
like
environmental studies or something like that?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and that wasn't and so we started to not get along, um, And so after the year 3, we mutually parted. So 2020 so the June 2023, we mutually parted. Now, as a father, husband, I don't part without another job in hand,
You gotta have something else lined up.
and so I didn't. So it was scary, but I knew my skill set, and I knew that I knew that with my skill set and my experience, it was either gonna be Orlando, Jacksonville Public School, Duval County Public Schools, or Tampa.
Yep,
Um, and I was able to land an interview. I was able to reach out via LinkedIn to the current chief of schools now. He was then a region soup, reached out to him, sent him my resume. Next thing I know, my resume was passed on to the region soup who had Lockhart as one of her schools.
so
It was
wait a minute, are you saying that LinkedIn worked in
yes,
this sense?
yes.
The LinkedIn social media platform where people go on to, like, tout their careers and look for jobs and stuff, that actually worked for you?
Dr. Rick Graves gave my name to the now deputy superintendent, second in command of Hillsborough, gave my name to her. I began a LinkedIn conversation with Shay McCray. Shay said, if you want to come to Tampa, I'll take care of the rest. Sent her my information. She gave my name to one of the region soups at the time. Next thing I know, it's the middle of end of June, early July. I'm being interviewed for Lockhart. And
Nice.
and then but so I interviewed, and next thing I know, I got the job.
Now, you're at Lockhart now. What's the demographics at Lockhart?
98% black.
And what makes it a magnet school? Is there anything like is there a theme? Because you talked about a theme before.
Oh, we
You
are a
guys
STEM
oh, so you got a STEM school. Well,
we are a STEM school, which
I know a little
but
bit
I
about STEM
also
schools.
think that but I also think that we're a magnet by name.
Oh, okay.
We're magnet
Okay.
because it used to be an arts magnet school before that.
Mm,
And
mm.
so, um, a lot of my kids are from the area. So we're
Yep,
magnet, but a lot of my kids are from the area. We are STEM school and we try our best. We try since I've been there, since I've gotten the job as principal there, I've tried my best and worked hard with the magnet lead coach to
yeah,
really live out our theme
to live
throughout
out that theme. Yep,
the day through in terms of especially with our science and math. We have a lot of room to grow as it
okay.
pertains to really because when I was at Thomas Edison, we were truly an interdisciplinary STEM middle school
Yeah,
where the curriculum was STEM was written into every component of every subject area.
right.
We haven't gotten to that point yet at Lock to
Okay,
where the curriculums is STEM is embodied in the curriculum. We're not there yet.
okay.
Um, and so we have it through our science programming. We implement STEM activities, um, some STEM aligned curriculum ideas.
Yep.
That's the route that we're going towards.
Do kids get science every day in elementary? Like, you have an elementary school. Do kids get science every day, I guess is the question.
On the schedule, they're supposed to.
Okay,
Grades
okay.
3, 4, and 5 get it because I'm K5. Grades
Yep,
3, 4, and 5 get science every day.
got it. Yep,
We struggle with the K2 science. They're supposed to. And as principal, I have um, made it much more of an expectation that we're doing science and social studies at the end of the day, but at least 30 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes 1 or 2 times a week for science and social studies. But it's definitely something that is a struggle to um implement for K2, but 3-5, yes, it's every day.
That's everywhere as well. That's
Yeah,
everywhere you go when
and
it comes to that. Trying to get that in over literacy and
it's
math,
hard.
although you can embed literacy into those areas when it comes to
Right.
engineering, science, and
Especially
math.
with science because there's so much literacy involved. I would say, again, so in some of our grade levels, we are departmentalized. And so we'll have a math, one ELA, and then a science teacher. And so we will do that in 3, 4, and 5 to ensure that science is a part of their daily schedule for my intermediate grades. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're trying to steal minutes from literacy. Good luck from the lower levels.
So I do want to shout out Daquan, your teacher, Mr. Wilson, who did come on the show um earlier on last year. But you, and he's another black male teacher, educator, you as the principal of the building and your school being 98% black, how does that make you feel? What's the responsibility of that role every day? You talked about it a little bit as a teacher when those kids was like, "Oh my God, wow, we have this guy as a teacher." Now you're running a school as a black man in Florida. What is that like?
Rewarding and challenging at the same time.
Okay. Can you expound? I don't want to get you fired, but but can you expound on that?
Rewarding in the sense of going back to what I represent.
Mhm.
What I represent for so many of my boys in my school whose family dynamics, some of them is broken.
Yeah.
And so me being that male influence,
Mhm.
that positive influence, speaks volumes. But I'm also an example of what you can obtain if you choose to really lean into your education.
Mhm.
I'm an example of that. Because at the end of the day, I always tell my kids, my own kids at home and then the kids at school, it's about choices you make. If you choose to value every day at school, it will become a eternal gift to you later.
Yeah.
Um, and so I really hope and pray that that's what I represent. In some cases, a father figure, that positive role model,
Yeah.
that example of what education can do and how it can enrich your life.
Mhm.
But then it's also a struggle because when you're working a 98% turnaround or as we call it down here, transformation Title One building,
Yeah.
the deck is stacked against me and my school. We
Mm.
don't get the resources, all the resources that I think we need to truly transition ourselves out of turnaround or transformation.
Okay.
I think if schools like us are given multiple coaches, uh, 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 if multiple community partners, we can do
Mhm.
wonders.
Mhm.
A lot of times in schools similar to my, and I was the same in New Britain too.
Yeah.
Schools like ours don't get all of those resources to truly be successful. Because in our population we've seen needs that additional and not and I don't want to receive it based on failure. I
Right.
want to
Right.
receive those resources because it's good practice.
Right. And then if you're
to
doing
res-
well, don't take those resources
And
away.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that happens here or back home in Connecticut. Once you do well, they
We're gonna
remove
take
it.
it away from you. And
But what they
so,
don't understand is how hard it is to sustain
yeah,
that.
for sure. And I think there's a fundamental issue with how we fund schools, period. Particularly
Absolutely.
schools in low performing neighborhoods. Our funding metrics, whether it's from the federal to the state to the local, needs to change or it's not gonna get any
Right.
better, especially now. So,
The public school is gonna be phased out into the charter world, which you see a lot of here in Florida is the charter world is prevalent, predominant. And so that's what I mean when I say it's a gift, but it's also because it's a curse because there are things I want to say. And
mhm,
there are things I want to scream from the highest peak, but
yeah,
I cannot. But I do. But just being representing that group of people
mhm,
and knowing what we need to
yeah,
truly be successful and not being given all of the pieces is hard because we work hard. I work hard. My assistant principal, she works hard. Daquan works hard we work hard for the with a little bit of what we have
yeah,
to try to build success. It doesn't come easy
right,
because people like Daquan and other I got some other a core group of teachers who are great teachers. You stretch them thin.
mm,
And as the leader, I try not to, but I lean into them because they do the work. They
yeah.
roll their sleeves up, um, and they know what it takes and understand and have a gift to work with our kids
And I don't
and
want
to
to make it
produce the best results out of them.
I don't want to make it sound doom and gloom, you know what I mean? Because this is elementary education and you're around kids. So I always believe that if you're going to be around any kids, whether they're elementary, middle, or high school, you should be having fun. You should be enjoying your job. You should be going there like, man, this is my career. I'm all about this life. What's the best part of going to work each day?
The best part is for me is when I watch the kids coming in.
Okay.
I'll stand at the gate with my school resource officer and my data processor sometimes, or I'll be in the cafeteria when they come off the bus, and just the excitement that they have coming in the building. You see it.
Yeah.
Um, and you never get too old for them hugs
Yeah.
from preschool always up to grade 5. It's just their enthusiasm for Lockhart. It just permeates throughout the building. Like no matter what's going on in their life,
Yeah.
their enthusiasm to be at Lockhart is amazing to see. And I see it every single day from all the students, whether it's the behavioral challenge ones or whether it's the quiet ones. It's just their enthusiasm.
Yeah. Yeah. That hits you. And so those are the fun moments that you go for. Cause like I said, there's no reason why you're gonna be in school when um and you're there for the misery of it, right? You're there for the fight of it. You're there for the tough challenges where you gotta be there to have fun too. You gotta be there to smile and to be like, man, I can't I have to go this day because this is happening today or this makes me happy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are we doing what we're doing? So how do you
Yeah,
create the condition? How do you create the condition for your teachers and your kids to have a good time in school?
um, we kinda forced the issue over the last couple of years by truly leaning into our PBIS program. Um, and when I say leaning into it, really, really harping on the relationship building component of PBIS.
A lot of people don't, um, you know, subscribe to the PBIS framework, right? Like positive
Right.
behavior. They should be doing that anyway, or the restorative practices. We let them get away with everything, right? Like, how do
Yeah.
you approach that to get everybody on the same page?
So one of the resources that I do have, I was able to secure was a behavior resource teacher. And she really led the charge and the team really led the charge of bringing this program in and taking feedback from the staff in terms of how we can build those positive relationships with kids. And in doing so, allowed them to be creative in the way they wanted to build a relationship, but also reward reward for the positive. And so we for example, we had a PBIS district walk today. My BRT and the district, two representatives came to the building today. They walked to school, talked to kids. The kids truly live out, understand our core tenets.
Well,
They're able to
what's your
recite,
expectations? What are they?
to be safe, kind, respectful, and responsible.
Okay,
The
safe.
the and the component that I harp on the most is kindness.
Yeah,
And so the district was able to talk to kids, and the kids were able to talk about the things that their teachers do with them in class, um, to connect with them, to reward them. They talked about our tenants. They talked about future. They talked about behavioral goals they set, or reward goals they set. But they were really able to. The kids were able to have this conversation with strangers about how the teachers and the classroom makes them feel
nice.
based on our program.
Yeah,
Because a lot of my first year there at first year, we had a lot of discombobulation as it pertains to how folks ran their classrooms. There was
yeah.
no uniformity. One doing this, you doing that. And when these kids start to matriculate up to grades, everyone has a different system, which created confusion, which created frustrations. And so I recognize that. And so that's why year two, last year, we went so hard into our
Mhm.
program. And we also recognize that the number one, the most important component of PBIS is that relationship with kids.
Right.
And so we really had some come to Jesus moments about what are your intentions,
Mhm.
as it pertains to students. How do you intend to be your best self and your best adult in front of them? And so we really had to took some moments with staff to do that, do those exercises, and really come get on one page about how we feel about kids, how we feel about the environment we create for kids. And so it's just been a continuous movement, and to not let the reward component be trumped by the assessment component.
Right.
We're always making sure we are, and when I say reward, meaning celebrating kids. We're
Mhm.
celebrating their achievements. It is something that has been embedded. It's monthly, it's weekly. Like, we don't falter from that. We just had a leader. We just had a quick leadership team meeting this morning because my assistant principal recognized that report cards just came out a week ago, 2 weeks ago now.
Mhm.
And she said, it just occurred to me, we haven't celebrated our kids yet. So we immediately huddled up, grabbed the team, grabbed the PRT, grabbed my support services staff. We huddled up, laid out our plan for this week and next week,
Yeah.
because it's that important to us that we commend our students, that we recognize their achievements, but we also commend that partnership with their parents, because some of our best and brightest are coming. Our parents are working with us to ensure that they are our best and brightest. And so it's very important to us that we create those conditions in the classroom.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm always talking to. I gave some feedback to a teacher the other day. She had a frustration, and the first thing I said to her, and I said, "So, what do you do as a community when you start to feel your classroom bubbling?"
Mhm.
I had to bring her back to, let's not forget, you got some options as the adult in the room to huddle them up,
Yeah.
have a discussion about how we are as a community. And we stress that.
Now, how do you feel about academics when it comes to writing versus using the computer? I was having a good conversation with another principal, and we were talking about the students' handwriting, and the time spent learning how to use a computer as well, because you can't forget that students need to know that too. How do you balance that?
I struggle with it. I
Okay.
struggle with it because I know that assessment wise, we don't do paper and pen. And some of our kids need to do paper and pen because they're not able to really think through their think through an assessment via computer. Um, and then there's the handwriting yeah, it's some of our kids struggle with dexterity, struggle with penmanship, and so I I've I've impressed upon the teachers that they should be writing more,
Mhm.
and creating those assignments and those activities to where they actually have to scribe. It is important, because in so many of our kids, it's not even legible.
Yeah, and we're not talking about teaching cursive. We're just
No,
talking about
right. We're
print.
talking about line spacing and intermediate. We're talking grades 3, 4, and 5. Like, this should not still be illegible, and you're getting ready to head into middle school in grade 6. And so, yes, a lot of the work. Do we allow them the computer programming, academic programming to manipulate during the school day, iReadies, the iExcels?
Yeah,
Yes, for a small time limit. But for the most part, yes, we are talking to students about scribing, paragraph structure. Writing is important because for some of them, it is like I cannot send them to the next grade when you can't. It's not even legible. Um, but I do understand the place of the computer, because again, all of their assessments, whether it's the state or our district assessments, are computer.
right.
And so they do have to learn how to manipulate that as well. Um, but it's a balance that we try to keep. It's tough because again, when they get down to the assessment component, and for math example, it becomes difficult trying to manipulate a mouse and trying to complete a math problem on a computer
Right.
versus any other time during math class. They're not. And
Yeah,
so
so you
we
gotta
try to.
teach them how to maneuver through the platform in order to get the
Right,
answer. I
right,
mean, for a
right.
long time when I was a teacher, we were doing CMTs. It wasn't that they didn't know 4 times 7 was 28, it's that they weren't bubbling in the answer in the right way, uh,
Exactly.
decimal point and all that. So
Mhm.
you had to figure that out. So same thing with now with technology, making sure that kids know how to navigate and put the right answers
Right.
into the system. But we could
But
talk
then
about
they also need to be able to know how to write an explanation
right. Out.
that the
Yeah,
teacher can read
right.
and to assess. And so you try to we do have writing component built into the schedule, especially for intermediate. And so we try to, again, when we're talking about those reading blocks, literacy block, you gotta be strategic with their writing component as well, but we try, man. It's tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I read a 4th grader's, writing sample
Sample.
today,
Yeah.
and he was one that was actually I could read. A couple of days last week, I was in 4th grade, and I was just like, something has to be done because
Mhm.
they're getting ready. They have one more year with me, then they're off to
Yeah,
middle school.
right.
Yeah, man. So it is a struggle.
Yeah, I'm like, bring back the composition notebooks, let them write every day. I see it in middle school and high school, and you get to the point where you're like, "Wait a minute, we have gotten way beyond where we should be when it comes to technology and the use and bringing kids back to writing." I understand, again, the need and where we're going in the future, but we still gotta come back to writing at some point. I think it helps people learn even better the more they write stuff down and speak it, the regular learning techniques for students. Um, we're getting along in this conversation. It seems like we've only been on for 20 minutes, but we've been on for a minute now.
Well,
When it
man,
comes to leadership, when it comes to sharpening your educational knife, so to speak, and staying on point with the latest, what do you turn to? Like, what's the latest book you've read or the latest thing you listened to or watched around education that's got you, going right now or that keeps you polished?
One of the things that keeps me polished is my work as a advisory board member with Ed Research.
Okay, what's that?
Um, and so I'm on it's with the Annenberg Institute and Brown University. I am one of the I'm on the advisory board to where I help edit and provide my feedback to individuals who write educational journals and articles. And so I'm truly able to um keep up on the latest surrounding, career tech education, CTE. I'm able to keep my ear abreast to um teacher induction programs, and feelings behind it, disciplinary measures for the pros and cons of disciplinary measures, and then the statistics surrounding kids of color. And so truly my work through with Ed Research Advisory Board and Annenberg Institute really allows me to really stay sharp in some of them because early and often are those articles being written, and then we convene as an advisory board, and I'm on a team to where we really take a look at what's being written, some of the statistics around it, um, charter versus traditional,
Yeah,
new teacher versus veteran teachers, um, AI in implementation in the classroom. And so lending my expertise and my voice to that editing and writing process has been a
yeah,
wonderful experience. But it has allowed me to, you know, stay abreast of what's going on. I try to um pay attention to Transcend newsletter as well,
yep,
which is another nonprofit organization, and some of the works and some of the information that Transcend sends out. And so, um, have I read anything lately? No, I'm still reading the history of education. And hold on, I'll get it for you. I'll show you.
it
One
gotta
sec.
be history. Go ahead, grab it. It gotta
Yeah,
be history of something, right?
yes, you know
Because
it is.
that's something you're passionate about when it comes to learning, right?
Yeah, it's the education of blacks in the South from 1860 to 1935.
Wow.
Right here.
Okay, okay.
Um, and it just takes it. I think the title speaks for itself.
Mhm.
It's um the how we were factored into the education system between Civil War up until the 1930s. And it's a again historical. And so that's the book that I always, you know, pick up, put down, read, get a little bit of nugget here, because it's powerful. And again, the way they thought about education for us, and then what we did as a people to
Yeah,
educate ourselves, because we were definitely on that sharecropper schedule.
yeah.
And so education for us was a few months out of the school year, then it's back to the fields to
Back
work.
to working. Yeah,
And we've come such a long way from that to where, I'm in a city now to where I walk into a room and there's still a large amount of black administrators and black educators in the room. The deputy superintendent in Hillsborough is a black woman. Several of the region soups are African American. So, and then when I was in up in Jacksonville, it seemed like Jacksonville, it seemed like every other principal in Duval was black. And so we just
and
come a long way.
that's a huge piece, man. I mean, especially traveling the world like that, and again, to me, just coming from a conference and seeing all types of people, it's one of those things that, especially when you talk about history, that I try to embrace as a principal of a magnet school in Connecticut, right? Because you're talking, oh, holy smokes, a principal of a magnet school in Connecticut. you weren't black for the most part. We had,
Right.
one at that time, which was Steve Perry, and he was doing, Capital Prep, and that started out as a charter school
Mhm.
and became a magnet, and after that, there really wasn't anybody else. The magnet schools was ran by, um, white administrators who were looking to bring in white students into our neighborhood, and so I always took that opportunity as a way to be like, man, this is great because this is about integration. It's about bringing people together. I want to be. It was an honor for me as a black male to lead that school and to bring people from different cultures, different races,
Yeah.
religions into that building. And it means a lot coming from like what you're talking about in the book that you're reading, from back
Yeah,
then.
because we weren't meant for it, man. We
No,
were never factored into it.
right.
Speaking from a personal standpoint, my father is a product of a sharecropping schedule in
Mhm,
Alabama.
mhm.
So he went to school 3 months out of a school year. 3 months, and so you do the math, it equates to a 6th grade education.
It's like you said, you weren't meant to be part of that, and
No,
so
we weren't part of that equation, so
yeah,
to see where we've come from today, where you were, where, my first AP job was, a black female administrator who gave me an opportunity at a magnet school in
yeah,
New Haven, and so we weren't meant it wasn't built for us to be a part of it, and in some cities, not only are we a part of it, but we are the majority. You know, um, Prince George County in Maryland, and you look at,
yeah,
um, some of those counties down there, that's
yeah.
we run the
And
entire
And
system.
sometimes, man, I gotta get out of my own thinking when it comes to that, and that's why going to conferences and having these conversations. I just talked to my girl Autumn Baltimore, who's from Maryland and from that area. I just met a guy. They call him Mister New School. Man, if you don't look this guy up, Mister New School, out next to Prince George. I just met him
Yeah.
at a conference. Look him up on YouTube. My man is hilarious, but he's a Commanders fan, by the way, too. I don't rock with them,
Yeah.
but he's a good guy when it comes to the work. And I can't forget that there's so many communities out here that people can network and talk to
Yeah.
and grow with and be reminded of, the work that we do and how important it is. Um,
Montgomery County, a whole bunch, man. Yes, there's a lot of us doing the work.
right, right. I gotta get you going on this. So we did have, and like I said, we could talk forever, but we've been going a long time. I gotta make sure you got your list ready because this is that point in time when we talk about your top 5, TV shows or movies about school, and you have to say them in order from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, and you have to give me a little nugget, it ain't gotta be long, but why you chose that particular TV show or movie. So, are you ready to go with that?
I'm ready to go.
Okay,
So you
so
saying 5 being the
5 being the lowest
lowest?
and number 1 being your top.
Okay. 5 would be it's a movie would be, uh,
But
Night
you got
School.
8 movies. Say it again?
Night School.
So that's Kevin Hart, right?
Night
And
School,
Tiffany
Kevin
Haddish.
Hart.
Okay, why Night School? That's the first time that movie has made it to a list, by the way.
Oh, man, it was, because that desperation, man, to
Yeah,
get to, you just to see that desperation in a person, to finish
yeah.
what
To
they
finish
they
what you
they couldn't
yeah.
finish in before, so that desperation, and then that cast was funny to me,
Mhm.
um, it just because there's so many people who I've met throughout my life who desperate enough to take a leap like that,
Yeah. Go and
um,
try to cheat and do all that other stuff.
you're
Fat Joe
right,
that was funny too. Yeah, I got
A
you.
School of Rock.
That's number 4, School of Rock.
School of Rock, because again, you had somebody who had no business, being in front of kids,
Mhm.
but ended up being such a positive influence for kids and helping them and if you really watch the movie with Jack Black, you see that he helped bring some of those kids out of their shell
Yeah.
and really bring them into themselves, and so I really like that.
Okay.
Um,
Number 4. Number 3.
and then just for some good old, just straight up funny,
Mhm.
teacher fight, Ice Cube,
Oh, fist
um
fight. That's fist fight. That's listen,
yeah,
that's
you know what? They kept changing the name. It was Fist Fight or
yeah.
Teacher Fight? It's Fist
It's
Fight?
fist fight. It's fist fight. But I'll let you tell it. Go ahead. Why fist fight?
Fist Fight, honestly, bro, just straight up comedy, like,
Yeah. Straight up comedy.
um, just straight up, in school, you never know who you gonna be working with as a teacher. Like, you have some weird coworkers, like, you just
Mhm.
never know
Mhm.
who gonna be in the building with you. Um, and so because I've been in buildings to where in New Britain, I've been in
Yeah, yeah,
buildings
yeah.
to
You got
where you
like
look
what
to
is
your left and you're just
listen.
like,
Are
"This
you
person
sure you
what?
got you sure yeah, you sure you're supposed to be
You
teaching?
right, you
Yeah.
sure you got a certificate?"
Right, right,
Um,
right. And that was a movie where they straight up, where he Ice Cube threatened my man to fight him. He's gonna
yeah,
beat
it
him up.
was, like, after school, like, it's gonna be yes, and then,
Okay, number
number
2.
2 number 2, Schoolhouse Rocks.
Okay. All right. So as a cartoon coming up,
As a tiny kid, like yeah,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
the messages,
yeah. We got a lot of
from
education from those little snippets on
yeah,
Schoolhouse
from
Rock
those
for
snippets,
sure.
yes,
Yep.
man, and when you're a little kid, like 'cause and remember, you use the word snippet. When you're a little kid, snippets grab your attention,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
so they
Yep.
leave lasting impressions, I believe, and that's why we have a generation now to where we make quick videos.
Quick videos. Yep.
And then, number 1, it's a tie, number 1.
We doing ties now. Here we go.
It
We got a tie.
so
It's your list. It's your list.
so I can't so on one hand, Lean on Me,
Okay.
because it actually teaches me how not to lead in some ways.
So I had this conversation as well
There's a difference
because
between a boss and a leader.
he was strong, right? And he had some messages, but then you were like, hold up. Like his superintendent had to be like, time out, bro. Like you alienating
Extremism.
folks
Yeah,
and like, over a
and
little bit. Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah.
and you're seen as a he was for most people, he was a boss. Not the difference between a boss there's a
Mm,
difference between a
mm.
boss and a leader.
Okay,
In so many instances, he was a boss, and that's not what I ever wanna be. I want to be a leader. And
okay,
then the other one was tied with Abbott Elementary,
okay. Why Abbott Elementary?
um, because Abbott Elementary, there are so many people in my building who remind me of those teachers, is
Characters.
that they will make lemonade out of lemons
Yeah.
no matter what. They're just gonna get it done for kids.
Mhm.
And so and Abbott and you can in spite of the principal who and Abbott who shouldn't even be there, but even in spite of that, you got people in there who are dedicated to kids.
Make it happen.
So those are my
But
top.
see, I like your 5 in a sense that what I said before, right? You should not be in the business of education and not smiling or not laughing or not
Yeah,
finding some humor in the role, um, and not taking everything so serious. There's times you gotta be serious, right? There's times you
right.
gotta like, "Hey, this is what we need to do,"
Mhm.
versus this, but not all the time.
Not all the
So,
time.
I wanna thank you for coming on the
Thank you,
platform, my
bro.
brother. It's always good seeing you and having conversations with you.
You too, man.
Um, I do have to let you go, but I appreciate you coming on.
I need you to come down, man. I need you to come down and just chill with me at my school one day. And before we hang up, I do want you to know that just based on I really appreciate how anytime I text you, especially about some coaching
Yeah.
for somebody else, you always come through for me. I still use so many of the things that you've used.
Yep.
I've put it into my practice. It works. So whatever you've done as a coach, I truly have embraced it and utilized it. It's served me well. I'm using it again tomorrow night with my coachee, And so it was meant to be for my son to have you as a principal. It was meant to be for me to cross paths with you because there are so many times I'm like, I wonder what he would do in this moment.
Mhm.
Let me reach out to him in this moment. So I appreciate you still being picking up the phone for me anytime, man. So this
Right.
was easy. This was
Yeah,
easy.
for sure. This is like a normal conversation that we have anyway, man. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for those words
Absolutely,
of
man.
gratitude. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, bro. And so I can't wait to see this and then can't wait to connect again.
So that's it. That's a wrap on this episode of the Teach One podcast. But I do have some homework for you. You got to subscribe, you got to like, you got to share with your teaching besties, and then comment on your favorite takeaways. That's your homework. Seriously, thanks for tuning in and being part of this amazing community of educators. Keep inspiring, keep growing, and remember you're teaching one student at a time and making all the difference. So, see you on the next episode.